level, but we've modified our slide presentation a little bit here to include some of the areas that include this area. And I'll be glad to answer questions. I've been told that I get the hook after about 15 minutes, so, and I can talk for hours. So let's see, we got to go back a little bit. Here we go. So the United States Coast Guard, this is the direction of our future. And by the way, our strategic plan will be on the web probably this weekend. I've got the final version signed by me on my iPhone. It's a little hard to read on the iPhone without better glasses than I've got. Our vision is to continue to meet America's ever-changing needs, and we want to increase intentional attention to the recreational boating areas. When Admiral Papp gave us our direction this year, that was his primary goal, is to improve our performance around recreational boating safety. And the security of American waterways, Mary's here with the Waterway Watch program. There's some other programs that have been discussed for that type of activity, and so we play an important role there. And then finally, improved methods of educating the boating public. The boating public today and our young people today don't talk or learn the same way that perhaps you and I did. People that sit in the same room, the young people today sit there with their thumbs on their little machines and talk to each other. They don't talk across the table. They're sending messages back and forth. And this is a different way of learning, something we have to learn. So our mission, his primary mission, is to, again, recreational boating safety, to contribute to the safety and security of the citizens, the ports, the waterways, as defined by the, dedicated by the United States Coast Guard, as directed by the United States Coast Guard. It's been a long day. My tongue is getting tired. Improving the quality of the delivery methods of our educational products, and that's what I was talking about earlier. We've got to learn how to deal with the young generation, the young people today. And we better learn that pretty quickly, because there's a lot of talk in the future that perhaps everybody's going to have to go through an educational program to operate a boat on the water. So we and the power squadrons and all the other agencies that teach these kinds of courses are going to be called on to do more. And work with like-minded organizations like the Power Squadron and others that do that type of work, and to increase awareness and the safety of the water. And that's our job that we do all the time, and I think you all do a pretty good job of that. Here's some information. We had 130,000 roughly vessel safety checks given and in 2009, so that's an improvement over 2009. And the pass rate is 96,000 of previously 89,000. For those of you who may not be aware, the vessel safety check decal, we print about 250,000 of those a year. They cost about $1 a piece. And up to this time, we've had an insurance company that sponsored those, and this is their last year, so we're out looking for a new sponsor. So any of you who've got $250,000 you'd like to put your name on the decal, we'd be glad to do that. But, you know, people tell me, they say, you all don't have the competition up here of the Power Squadron. We don't view it as a competition. We view it as an additive. It's a program that we need to work on. But I hear people talking all the time that, well, they get on my dock, they're taking my territory away from us. Well, you know, there are a lot of boats in the United States. We just said that we passed 130,000 last year, and we had almost that many, again, decals that didn't get put on boats. And so we're a very small part of that total opportunity to get out there and look at boats. And as you will see as I'm here, that I have a long line of Blarney, and I can get on a boat and talk to the guy, and he wants to throw me off before it's over with, but we get through his life jackets and all the things that he needs to do. So in your area, you're down a little bit. Your pass rate is about the same. And then on our fishing vessel exams, we had 1,876. The previous 2009, 1,541, and marine dealer visits are continue to be up, 85,246 versus 82,373. The green may not show up too well on this, but that means it was an improvement. Fishing vessel exams, that's an area you've already heard the captain talk about that a little bit this morning, but there's new laws that are going into effect that are going to require particularly boats that go out past 2 miles, I think it is, that have to have a every 2-year inspection. And we may be involved in that in some way, but we've got to be careful how we do that because of the laws, and so that we don't get into a situation where we're acting as a law enforcement agency. In operational areas, this is an area where we need to work on. Our safety hours, we've had about 83,000 and 21,000 missions versus 94 and 21, 865. So our hours on the water are reduced. Our regatta hours are actually up. But what we're seeing is that we're losing our coxswain crew and facilities. And so I have a group of folks that are looking and seeing why that's going on. We don't really know. We think part of it may be the economy. But we also think that some of our people are just fed up with having to do all the things to requalify and so forth. So we're trying to learn what's bothering people so that we can bring this operational area up, because we believe that this is one of the major areas where we can help the Coast Guard. Safety and regatta hours, you guys are doing pretty good. Those are your numbers for almost twice what you had in 2009. Assists, we're doing okay there. We're up, property value saved, we're up quite a bit there. And lives saved, again, we're up in that category as well. So these are national numbers. And the progress of our membership, you guys are down just a little bit from the previous year, but you are on an upward slope. And if my stock market stuff looked that good, I'd probably be happy. So our numbers are nationwide are in that low 30,000 number. In public education, again, our PD classes are down, and this is an area that we and you all can help us with too, in terms of trying to work on that to make sure that we educate the public. The class hours are down. You would expect that when the class is down, and instructors are down. So we've got to try to keep the instructors that we have. And I know it's only about 3 or 4 instructors there, but it is a trend and something that we're seeing nationwide. So our member training hours are up just a little bit, and yours are down quite a bit. Our OXOPs are down slightly, but I would expect a big increase in OXOPs with the new policy that's just gone into effect. Yours truly is one of the benefactors of that. I've been given a hard time about not being able to navigate, but that's another story. Our watchwords, our dependability. These are things that I felt were important for our organization, and that's being reliable. If you say you're going to do something, I'm asking you to really get out there and do it. And if for some reason that you can't do it, be sure you call the people and let them know why you can't do it. So we need to be dependable in what we do. We need our integrity. We need to be honest, and we need to be to not cheat. This is an area that I'm very concerned about. We've had a couple instances, and it only takes a couple people that give us a black eye. So when you fill out your forms, do them honestly as best you know how. And the new form that we were talking about, which was the old 99 form, when we added the cost of your gasoline and your hours of operation, and I shouldn't put it in this category because we don't think that's the case, but just for your information, it showed up last year that we had $2.5 million worth of gasoline that was contributed by our members that they were not reimbursed for, and over 10 million hours. That's why it's important to fill out the form. And we only got about a third of the people filling out the form. And then finally, our diversity. Diversity is not just an issue around, whether you're black or white or Hispanic or what. It's also a diversity around age and around gender and other things. So it's also diversity around skills. Sometimes our young people come in, we talked about them earlier, texting back and forth. Well, our young people come in today, and that music they're listening to probably wouldn't be my choice, but they can be the kind of people that might be your perfect IS officer. So, don't judge someone necessarily by certain parts of what they listen to or do, or maybe even how they look. Be sure that we actively seek our new people. If you look at our demographics of our nation, we have a very diverse nation in the future, and we need to be part of that, and we need to encourage our people to do the same. In my studies in progress, I already mentioned the reduction in the fact that we have the facilities that are being reduced, and we want to find out why. Our coxswain boat crew, We want to trim the sails. We've had the comment that our national board is too large, and we have a group of people that have made a recommendation to reduce that, and that will occur at NACOM this year. You'll see quite a reduction there. And also a realignment of some of the staff organizations within that organization. We're working real hard on that. We should make a final decision probably early May and make the announcement at our conference in August. And by the way, while I'm speaking of the conference in August, I want to put out an advertisement for any of you that can get to Charlotte, North Carolina. My roots are in that part of the world, and I've told my uncles to crank up the stills. And our fun night is going to be hillbillies. And they told me that, isn't that a derogatory term? And I said, not for people from that part of the country. They're very proud of the fact they're hillbillies. And so I had an uncle once who managed to keep a little of the good stuff in a big, like a barrel. And you became a member of his little club, and he gave you a little card that said you're a Kegler member. And he had a northern version and a southern version. And I know we got a big crowd here, but do you know the difference between the northern and the southern version? The southern version had no shoes on, the little guy that was standing there with the keg in his hand, so that was the difference between his keglers, the northern version and the southern version in that part of the country. And then our NASPLAS courses are approved. We have several that have been about boating safety, boating skills and seamanship, and then our sailing skills and seamanship. All of those are approved. Here's some of our goals for next year. To improve our performance, to increase our membership, to improve effectiveness, to have more fun. And believe me, we're going to try to work on that one too, because if you guys don't have fun, I can't increase your pay any more than what you already get, so you better get it out part of this. And so in conclusion, we want you to be safe on the water. We want you to be an example to others. And this is real important. The way we look and the way we act, when we put this uniform on, we are a part of the Coast Guard, and people cannot tell the difference. And in fact, in some of our areas of the country, this has become a big issue. As most of you know, I come from South Texas, and our members in the South Texas area have actually stopped wearing this uniform in general public areas because of the potential for the people from south of the border having some grudges against some of our active Coast Guard people. So we've gone to the polo shirts and other things so that they don't look so close. And this is also the case in some of the Southern California lakes. And our flotilla had patrolled on the lake where the two people were shot at, and one of which was killed on the lake down in South Texas. We don't do that anymore. We stay off the lake. So this is something that you have to remember to be an example to others. And your uniform, most people cannot tell the difference. I will tell you a quick funny story. The Admiral, after his meeting, he called all of the previous and retired admirals in the Coast Guard to come to his conference on the state of the Coast Guard. It was a very nice affair. And afterwards, he had a cocktail party at his quarters one, which if you land in Dulles, now, not Dulles, but at Reagan, and you look to the right, if you're going up the Potomac, his house sits right on the water. It's a really neat place. So I was worried about getting on the base, which is Bowling Air Force Base, and he laughed and said he was leaving the room when he heard me talking about this to some of his aides. And he says, don't worry about it. If you wear that shirt right there, you'll probably get a police escort because they'll think you're the Vice Commandant of the Air Force, you know, with the silver on you. So be careful what you ask for. And enjoy being the #1 volunteer organization. And this is something really great that we do. Most people don't realize the wonderful things that each of you do to help our nation, and the fact that you do it all basically for free. And you give of your time and your efforts and your knowledge and so forth. It's just a great thing. So, I think I did pretty good, about 15 minutes. I'll be glad to, is this a good time to ask for questions, if anybody has any? I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has. And of course, I'll be here till Monday, and I'll be glad to answer any questions offline too. Anybody have anything? This is great. Semper Paratus. Thank you all very much.